Hey, 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 welcome everybody to Bridging the Seen and Unseen. I am your host. I am Shane McLain, and this is the wonderful Gwen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
My wife's here. Can't complain. Wouldn't do me any good anyway. But but
Your
um
wife.
but I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to have this guest on. I'm kind of curious, about the experiences this guest is going to bring. So I'm really curious. So without further ado, he's been on the network before. He's been on a couple shows that we have here. Let's welcome Jeremy Cotter.
Hey, good evening, guys. Gwen.
Hey,
Hey, nice to meet you, Shane. How's it going?
nice to meet you too, buddy. Hey, we always start out. This is a pretty relaxed show. Why don't you just go ahead and tell everybody who you are and a little about yourself?
Well, my name is Jeremy Cotter, obviously, and I'm I'm a new addition to the network. I'm going to be starting up the
Yes.
new show called Twisted Tales. Probably 2 weeks from this Wednesday is going to be my first official show of the 21st. I was talking. My guest is going to be Nate Ewell, another tremendous podcaster on
Yep.
this network. Um, it's definitely different for me. I've been involved in the paranormal for a little over 14 years now. Got
Well,
involved around 2011. Started off as a skeptic, kind of. My wife was a big fan of the shows, and she used to watch the Ghost Hunters and the Ghost Adventures and Paranormal State and all that stuff. And honestly, I used to poke fun at it because I didn't think any of it was any real or anything like that. And then we went to our very first investigation in Massachusetts at this place called the S.K. Pierce Mansion in Western Massachusetts. It's a beautiful old Victorian mansion, and yeah, my very first time ever going to a thing, I saw a spirit come out from a wall and block a window and block out the street light, and I had no idea what the heck it was. And because of my background, I was a professional wrestler for like 20 years before I even got involved in anything paranormal. So I was looking for like projection or mirror or smoke, anything that I could think of to like just think it was like staged. And when I didn't see anything, I was like, "Oh my God, what the heck did I just see?" And I found my wife later on, when she was in the tour. I'm like, "Yeah, something just happened to me, and I don't know what this is." And then, honestly, from there, everything started changing. Like we would go to investigations, and I'd start hearing voices that I couldn't quite understand, and then it started getting more clear. And then the voices started attaching to like the shadow type figures, that you would see in hallways, whether it was on a battleship out of Quincy, Massachusetts, or at Eastern State Penitentiary, or a few of the other smaller locations, Salem, a few places in Salem, like the Hawthorne Hotel in Salem.
yeah.
Um, and I started realizing that I was being gifted the ability to communicate to spirits without needing equipment. Equipment was fun at first,
Oh,
but
wow.
then when I started being able to communicate like I am to you and like I do to Gwen without using any equipment, and then people with equipment were verifying what I was hearing and
Mm.
seeing, that was an eye opener. And the Conjuring House. I'm sure you've heard of the Conjuring House, of
Oh,
course.
yeah, for sure. 100%.
One time
Yeah.
we were doing an investigation at the Conjuring House, and the woman who was running the event had everybody around the room, tell a little bit about themselves. I go, "My name is Jeremy, and I I have I see things and I see people, and I'm not quite sure what it is." And she said, "You know what it is?" I go, "What?" She goes, "You're a clairvoyant." I'm like, "I guess I am." And then, to be honest, I stay open all the time because I don't want to miss out on any experiences that I can possibly have
So
in the.
you didn't know that, Jeremy? You didn't know that you were a clairvoyant?
Dude, I have no idea. I started off from a skeptic, cynic type individual. Then I became an empath, so I could actually feel people's emotions, and I was starting to get in tune with the places that we would go.
Wow.
Then I started seeing the figures in shadow form. Then the shadows cleared up, and I could actually see them clear as day. I could see people's like spirit guides or loved ones that are attached with them. I've even been given the ability to, when I'm focused, to see people's auras and things of that nature as well. So
Yeah.
it's it's been an eye-opening and wonderful experience, you know, for the
That's
very, very,
amazing.
That
for the
is.
very few and far between of the rough experiences or the rough people that you deal with that you don't really want to deal with.
Yeah.
I have met so many wonderful people who have been so cool, you know.
Yep. And that's how it really should be. You know, when you come into the paranormal, you know, you should always feel welcome because we're all somewhat linked into the paranormal because we want to know answers. We want to meet people who are like-minded, you know, that have had experiences. And like I told you before, I am a reverend. I am a Knights Templar, but I had my first paranormal experience when I was 10 years old.
Oh wow.
And so I have always known that there's something. And even though I'm in ministry, I never wanted to delude people because churches do a horrible job about saying that, oh, yeah, if there's a haunting, if you have anything in the house, that it's demonic. That's just simply not true.
No,
No,
it's
you
not.
know what? I'll be honest with you. That D word to me is trash. And
Well,
and, I,
well,
and
well,
I know I respect demonologists. I have friends who are
yeah,
demonologists, but to think that every negative or grumpy spirit
no,
is
yeah,
is that
yeah,
D word,
yeah.
to me that's disrespectful. You know,
That's
because
that's where understanding how to being able to identify them. I work in exorcism ministry. And I'm telling you, we have exorcism. If somebody brings that up and you go to someone and they're willing to work with you right off, run, run, because an exorcism should be your very last resource.
okay, yeah, that makes
There's
sense.
so much that has to go on to it, you know, because there's behaviors in schizophrenia that will mimic oppression behaviors in demonic. There's so many things that you have to be able to look for to be able to identify it. So anybody that's truly into this field, knowing that you have to get a physical from a doctor. You know, first of all, you need to have ongoing psychological evaluations. You have to sign a waiver that we can look at those to compare. I have a whole 3-page questionnaire that we go over because we try to eliminate, you know, the like you said, the D word, because
Mhm.
my goal was to not only bridge the gap between paranormal and clergy, but my goal was also is to get paranormal teams not only to learn about proper protection, proper grounding, you know, things of that nature, but quit telling people that there's a demon when you have no idea what's in there.
I agree with you, and I'm going to say this, and I apologize because my language can be a bit coarse at times,
No,
but
it's fine. Is it? I'm not here. I'm not here. You're you, man. So just feel free on this show.
I
And
truly feel that if 99.9% of the people that are in the field ever saw a demon, they'd shit their pants and run in the other direction as fast as humanly possible. That's my personal opinion. I could
yeah,
be wrong, but it's like my biggest thing is that I did away with like the investigator part of the paranormal investigator. For me, I consider
Mhm.
myself a paranormal communicator. I like to
okay.
I
I like that.
I talk to the spirits. I like to hear their stories, but I'm not investigating them. What do I think? What am I, the paranormal police? I mean, I'm not investigating these people. I'm not a ghost hunter. It's not like I'm going to hang them on a wall if I caught them or something. You know, to me, those are terms that are fantastic. But for me, I consider myself a paranormal communicator because I like to hear the spirits and their stories. I like to talk to them and treat them like regular people because they are.
Yeah.
You
What's
know,
that? That's amazing. That's amazing. And what I don't like, Jeremy, is I don't like when someone says I'm a paranormal expert.
There is not one.
There's not an expert in here. There's not. We are all looking for the same answers. We're all looking for the thing. There's no scientific proof to back anything. Your experience is going to be different than mine. There are no experts. The only thing that you're an expert is the behavior that you put into investigations in dealing not only with locations, but with clients also.
And I agree with you. The only thing I could, I will say this: there are people who are experts in using the equipment, because I don't know how to use any of these things. I mean, I think the REM pods are cool. I have a good REM pod story I can share with you guys in a little bit. But all I use, I have one of those K2s that I like to use in places that don't have hot wires or whatever. My dowsing rods, pendulums, and basic communication. Just sometimes I will go into like the trance, or I can channel spirits through my body if the situation does happen. But as far as like the echo voxes and all of the all the portals and I don't know, and the ghost boxes, I can't stand the one that flips through the channels at 100 miles an hour. It really irritates my ears, and I feel like I'm distorted by the time I'm in the room with the thing for more than like 3 minutes.
Have you ever heard of the Geo box?
I believe I have. Is that the one that
it eliminates the white noise?
Right. Now there's several different ones that do. Like we have a portal, but you have to adjust it. But it will, Matt and Lee have a piece of experimental equipment that now I don't have a whole lot of the big stuff, because I love to use it and see how I can do it. But honestly, I like the basic stuff, Jeremy. I get you. I understand.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And I've told people about that on here too. Like I'm really old school with things, when all this equipment and stuff started coming out, we didn't have all that when I was coming up and really looking for stuff, so we would use like red Solo cups, and we'd turn them upside down, and we would take ping pong balls, and we'd rub them on your head to cause static electricity. And then once you put it on top of the red Solo cup, if an entity gets close to it, the ball shoots towards that direction.
That's pretty cool. I've never seen that done before. That's actually cool.
That's something I'm going to try next time. And balloons. I like balloons, but you have to be in somewhere that has no air movement. That's
true. I mean, I don't have any hair, so it may be a little bit different for me, but
hey, look.
Yeah, see, I hear you.
I got enough for both of you, so it's okay.
Yeah, I know. I see that. I see it. But believe it or not, it works. It works even with short. If you got stub or something like that, it works, because when you rub that, that thing causes some serious static on there. And if you take the ping pong ball, you can always check it. You rub it against your head, and you take the ping pong and stick it next to your arm, and your arm hairs will stand up.
Hey, Kimmy Clarks is saying yes, styrofoam plates and cups and baby powder is kind of like.
Yep.
Yes,
I've heard baby powder. That's a given.
Yep.
I've actually seen baby powder and a Matchbox car used and I've actually seen the car move across the powder at a location one time, and that was pretty cool. I will say.
It is. You don't have to. And what I think is fascinating, what you have enlightened us so far, is that you came in here as a skeptic, and you had your first encounter, and then everything opened up for you, and now you're fluent in your belief. You're able to communicate, and I think that is amazing. It was almost like something was waiting to open up inside of you.
I agree. And you know what? And the most important thing, Shane, is that I am open for every experience. I'm not closed-minded.
Nice.
I do stay open way too much. I probably should ground myself more. But
you should ground yourself.
I definitely should grow myself more. But you know something? The experiences I've had, even at my job, because I work at a hospital in food services, and some of the stuff that I've experienced in the last couple of years, especially during like the COVID times of like Delta variant and whatnot, it sends chills up my spine. The fact that there were times I've actually been able to feel people's illnesses and emotions when they're in a comatose state. I can actually feel what they're going through.
Oh wow, you
Even
can
in their,
sense their aura and all that stuff.
well, I'll share one quick one with you. There was a time, it was in 2022, so it was right on the tail end of the Delta variant of COVID. I was
Mhm.
delivering food trays to the critical care unit, and somebody had called down for a comfort tray. Basically, the person's passing away soon, and the family, the tray. So I go to bring the tray to the critical care, and I'm pouring sweat, and I got like stomach pains, and I was feeling I wasn't feeling good at all. And I go and I leave the tray, and I look over to the side, and the gentleman is laying there. And this was the time when you only allowed to have like 2 to 3 people maximum in a room because of all of the restrictions that were going on. And I look over, and all of a sudden, I saw his light come off of him and go shoot up above his head and disappear into the thing, and he had passed right then. And then
Oh wow,
all of,
you, you
all
saw
of the
that?
pain that I felt did disappeared. But I'll tell you, I was sweating so bad, it looked like I had been in a swimming pool, and I still had to go and I still had to go finish the rest of my shift, it was mind boggling. And the hair on my arms stood up for like 3 hours afterwards, just from the amount of energy that I had absorbed in that room at that point.
Wow.
That's
So
amazing.
how does it? I mean, like with you, when you were a skeptic like that, how did you explain those feelings? Because you had to have gotten some kind of feelings,
Well,
like behind it, between the aura of people or anything of that nature. Like how? What was your explanation behind that?
honestly, I didn't have one because,
Really?
like I said, I used to make fun of the TV shows. I used to, my wife, when we went to our first investigation, says that there's a psychic medium that's going to be there. I go, well, I'm a psychic triple extra large. I was making jokes. I was poking fun at it the whole time. She would watch a special on TV. I'd be like, oh, look, I think a fly farted on camera. Or, just stupid stuff. I was because it wasn't my thing. And then I went with her because she wanted me to go on an investigation. And then I had that small experience. And then the next time we went to a location, and then just it kept getting different and more. And then I started working with people who were of a similar sensitivity, and some of the results we would get would be crazy. Like we had one of my friends, and we were investigating in a graveyard, and she was using a pendulum, and the pendulum snapped right off the chain right in the middle of it. And my friend was using his Echovox on his tablet. We had it sitting on top of one of the stones, and the guy flipped the tablet off of the tombstone. And this was in broad daylight at a graveyard in Connecticut. And I'm like, you can't make this shit up, and you can't. And these are experiences that I feel that I was meant to have. I feel that there's no explanation necessarily, but these are the experiences that I was meant to have as I developed my abilities, sensitivities, whatever you want to call them, to where it is in a current day where I appreciate everything that the paranormal universe has bestowed upon me. You know, Sometimes it's a bit heavy. Sometimes I get drained of my energy in a snap of a finger when we go into some places. But the whole idea is that I didn't look at it as a negative per se. I looked at it as every experience was amazing to have.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and you know what? To me, I think that the best paranormal experience is going to be the next one, and then the next
Mhm.
one, and then I've had a chance to meet so many great people, including you guys and everybody else in this wonderful network of all access. I'll tell you, I am
Yeah.
so excited to be able to actually be part of this. This is the first time that I'm going to be on the host side of the. I'm a little nervous about that, to be honest with you. I've been my mind with just like flips back and forth of like, can you really do this? You shouldn't do this. You're going to do this. And I was like, oh my god, my
Can
head.
I show them? Can I show them your poster? Is that okay?
Sure, please.
The one I made this for him because I was trying to get something out there so he could announce it and just have something to start with. This is not going to be his permanent one. I'm sure we'll flip it up, but you know, when Jeremy talked to me, he was such, I almost say like a gentleman. He waited till I got to Salem, Massachusetts to talk to me in person to get this going. And I thought it was just special, but Jeremy's cool.
That's awesome.
I know it. He's just great. But I made this up for him. And like I said, this is not the permanent one. We will tweak it and all that good stuff, but this is to get him going. But very soon it's going to be Twisted Tales.
I love that. That's awesome.
I like it too, but I know he may look at it and want something changed, and that's good. But
I love this thing. Like I told you, Gwen, the minute I saw that, even because I know the only thing that I changed was from topics to tales. That's the only thing that we had changed it up, because we Twisted Tales, and the reason I called the show Twisted Tales, if you don't mind, I'm going to just give a brief.
Oh, please.
The reason I call it Twisted Tales is because you don't know what direction it's going to go, and by being Twisted Tales, it doesn't follow a linear path. Like my show isn't necessarily paranormal, because I'm going to do paranormal. I'm going to do horror. I'm going to have some wrestling guests on because of my experience in wrestling, pop culture, comic books. It's whatever anybody's passion is, like showcasing people's events, people's locations. I'm all about building people up. I'm all about, making people, bringing to light some people who might not see light all the time, or bringing attention to more to people whose locations I know are actually great. Anybody who I believe in building up people. I believe in positivity and all of that kind of stuff. So,
and that's exactly why we need more people like that, because people come in here and it's become like a competition, or we're bigger, we're better, we're more famous than you. And my wife made such a valid point to a lot of these celebrity types.
Oh God.
She said, outside of the paranormal, who knows them?
I don't know.
And that's that's right. And I mean, but to put yourself on a level like that, to where, when I look at people, I want people to know that I value them. I value their opinions. I value how they see things, how they do. Perception is reality. And I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to see and listen to who you are, what your heart is, where your passion is, and things of that nature. And that's exactly what I'm here for. And I wish more people were like that, Jim. The whole thing that you have coming in here is going to be very beneficial, not only for this network, but for the paranormal field in general, because we need more people like that, that bring that positiveness in here, because you show a genuine passion behind it, and you're not there to gain anything off anybody. And that's the problem that I've seen a lot. Paranormal.
I agree with you. I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize. But no, I'm not doing this because I'm, whatever. I'm doing this to have fun with it. I'm doing this to bring a little bit of something different, And that's why I'm going to talk to many different people about many different things. Bring in some of my cohorts from the independent wrestling scene. I'm going to bring in people from paranormal. I'm going to do horror. I've already been talking to some people who do acting jobs in different haunted attractions, and I'm going to bring them in and talk to them about like haunted, like their experiences. And I want to have conversations about horror, even debate about horror. I love to talk to people. I'm a people person. It's really what I enjoy to do. And
mind if I read your comment? I know you can't. These guys are on their cell phones, and they can't see it. But Jeremy, I'm gonna butcher this. The other Jeremy Bruton. He says, "So true. For my show, I want to learn about new places I have never been and stories I've never heard before. For me, it's not about the celebrity status, and that's exactly right."
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, I've met just about every celebrity in the paranormal, like the big ones, but I treat them like I treat you and Gwen and everybody else.
And you should.
I don't get awestruck. When I used to be a professional wrestler, I was in locker rooms in the WWF with like Macho Man Randy Savage and all the big stars of the 1990s. And I've wrestled on shows. I've wrestled against some legends like Superfly Jimmy Snuka and King Kong Bundy and other guys from the 80s back in the day. So, and I don't view celebrity like that. I don't fanboy for anybody. I hate to say it. There's only one person I've ever fanboy for, and that was Robert Englund, because I'm a gigantic Freddy Krueger fan, and I don't care what anybody says. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I waited 3 hours to get his autograph. I would do it again tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Because he's like my favorite all time character. So
Yeah, I got to meet in Orlando. I got to meet Kane Hodder.
he's awesome.
Yep.
He is
Yep,
awesome.
I did.
I met him in Salem years ago, but before that, I had met him. A quick little Kane Hodder story for you. So a long time ago, there was a Halloween attraction called Spooky World, and it used to be in the run at this old farm in Berlin, Massachusetts, and they would bring in celebrities like Elvira or other people, and Kane Hodder was there one night, and I was working as like security slash car attendant, parking, whatever the hell it was. And I'm a big guy. I'm like 6'3", 370 pounds. I'm a big person, right? And they needed somebody to fill in because the guy who played Leatherface was sick. So I was like, Kane Hodder was like poking at me, going, "Dude, you should go do it. You should go do it. Put on the stuff." I go, "I'll do it if you put on a Jason mask and come out with me for a few minutes and terrorize people on," because they would actually have the actors go and they would terrorize the those hay rides. The hay ride would come around the corner and Leatherface would come with a chainsaw, like the fake one without the blade, and would like run it around, blah blah blah. So I got a chance to do that. And it was a brief time, and it was just funny. It was cool. I talked to Kane about his experiences with like wrestling and stuff, but I don't treat celebrities like on a separate pedestal. Then
Right.
I enjoy
Right.
meeting them. If they're cool, they're cool. If they're not cool, then I won't bother with them after that.
They're human beings.
Yeah.
Some of
Yeah.
them, I think they're pressed a little too
Some of
much.
the-
Let's be honest.
Yeah. But I mean, like, and to be honest with you, they should have a lot of respect for you from that. Because a lot of people go to them and they're like, oh, can I get your, and you're like, hey, how you doing? I'm Jeremy. Yeah, I mean, and that's how it should be. I mean, when I met Kane, I mean, the only thing that I saw was when I first saw him, all I heard in my head was kill, 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 kill.
Yep.
And I mean, you can't help it because I've seen him on the screen so many times, and I mean, you just can't help it, and then
Right.
once he puts that Jason mask on, it's like, oh man.
I mean, as you can see
Oh,
over my shoulder, I have a Jason banner behind me. So
Yeah.
I respect all of the. I mean, I'm a huge horror guy, and I think Kane was probably the best.
Oh, 100%.
I'll tell you,
100%.
the guy who played Jason in Freddy vs. Jason, Ken was a really, really nice guy. I met him at Silver Screen Fest in Worcester this past fall. He was a really, really cool dude. Him and Tom Savini was cool too. I got a chance to meet Tom Savini for a little bit.
Jason versus Freddy, that was an interesting one, but I really wish they would have done something like Michael Myers versus Jason.
They couldn't do it. There would be no fucking dialogue. Pardon my French. There would be no. You'd have two killers who don't talk. It's pretty much putting a hat on a hat. It's the same thing.
Oh yeah.
See, if you did Freddy versus Art the Clown, that would be a different thing. If you did Freddy versus any of them, or whatever, but you need to have one of the antagonists talk. Jason versus Freddy is just like silent kill after silent kill after silent kill, but then you'd have to rely on your side characters, all the victims, to do all the dialogue, and eventually,
That's
you're
true.
gonna have two people who don't talk fight each other at the end. That's just gonna be the most quiet 15 minutes with the film, and it might be cool as far as watching them fight, but there's no dialogue going on there. That's why
I did see a film that somebody did. I don't know. I think it's still on YouTube, to where this guy actually put, the match that could happen between Jason and Michael.
Yep, there's a channel that they pit horror characters against each other. Who will win? This one versus that one. This one versus that one. That's a good one. And to me,
And to me, my wife, she's a diehard Michael Myers, and I do like. But to me, like the way that Rob Zombie did his Michael Myers Sabretooth,
Oh
like
yeah.
that is a Michael Myers that would scare the mess out of you if you ran
And
into something like that.
I agree with you. The first movie was wonderful. The second movie was complete garbage, complete because it was a giant. It was a giant dream sequence with the girl with the woman on the white horse and the
Yeah.
little kid who took over more than 25% of the movie, and it just ruined the flow of the entire film to me.
Mhm.
I mean, I just say Michael's probably on the lower end of my favorite horror characters only because they've never been able to pick a direction and go with it. Even when your directors go, like those last three movies that they did, the Halloween Ends, Halloween
Yeah,
Kills,
yeah.
they told you in 2018, please forget the last 40 years of movies because they don't matter. Anything after the second one doesn't matter. They wanted you to forget all of those movies, that entire lineage of film.
Yeah.
They wanted you can't do that. You can't go from 1981 to 2018 and forget everything in between.
Right. It was like some people put Laurie Strode as the sister, and then some people don't. What is it? What
The
is it?
problem
Is
was,
she or isn't she?
well, the problem was, Shane, is that they told it in two different directions at the same time. She was
Oh,
a
that's
friend of the family. She was Michael's adopted sister. She was just a woman that he felt like tormenting. They sent Jamie Lee Curtis's character in three different directions at once, and they couldn't nail it to the wall if they tried. They introduced all these side character members of Michael's family just so he had something to chase around and torment. It didn't make
Right.
any sense. It didn't make any
Right.
sense.
Because
That's why
because honestly, I feel like she didn't really have her set place, because it was like, who is she in here? Because the way that some of them were set up, I mean, it was kind of off in the beginning, but I'm glad, somebody like Rob Zombie was able to at least, get into his childhood.
yes, that first one was amazing to watch. I do agree that the first Rob Zombie Halloween movie was fun. It was great, but for some reason he took it and then just turned it into a white zombie video in the second one, and it
Yeah.
just ruined it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of
Like a dreamscape almost. Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That
I get it.
I hate to say it, that's what took me out of like the House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, Three from Hell thing. Was if you've ever seen the first one, it's gory as heck. It really is. But towards the end of the movie, you're watching it and it turns into one gigantic Rob Zombie horror like music video towards the end, and it's like it checks you out of the whole story, and
Mm.
then they want you to forget about all the characters that were there and just concentrate on the other ones. And I mean, rest in peace, Sid Haig was amazing as Captain Spaulding. Don't get me wrong, absolutely. And Bill
Captain
Moseley,
Spaulding. Yeah. That guy, he's crazy.
or Sid Haig.
Um, I definitely agree with you, on a lot of that, because like I don't remember like me having to question any Friday the 13th movies.
No, well,
Except for now
Part
up
nine.
in space,
I loved that one.
and I mean, but I mean, it was kind of off the wall.
I agree, but that was at the time where they tried to mix horror with sci-fi with everything. They were getting into the whole Alien versus Predator type of stuff, and then they were trying to bridge sci-fi and horror in a major
Yeah.
way at that point.
His
Now,
outfit was amazing, though.
the movie before that, Part 9, when his spirit moved from body to body, I was not on board with that one at all. Yes, I know, Gwen. I'm a horror aficionado.
No, I'm asking the audience. I'm putting a comment in there, and I'm asking them, "What is your favorite horror movie? Tell us what it is."
Mhm.
For me, currently, you're probably gonna be disturbed, but I love the Terrifier series with Art the Clown now. I'm a huge
wow.
fan because I know the franchise is gory, but they went back to practical effects. They got away from all the CGI crap because for a long time CGI was taking over with Final Destination, and I love the Saw franchise, but a lot of the Saw movies were heavily relying on CGI special effects, and it was just taking you away from the natural flow of things, you know.
That's
But
true.
Art the Clown, he doesn't say a single word, and they've never even explained his backstory. They're going to do it with the final one because they're putting out part 4, I think, next year, which is going to be they're finally going to give you some of his backstory finally. But for some reason, I'm a huge fan of horror clowns anyway. Like all sorts
They're
of clowns.
kind
Like
of creepy, to be honest. They're kind of creepy.
So you like it?
it's okay. Art the Clown is big for me. Even like the Captain Spaulding, but my favorite is the Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I'm a humongous fan of that old campy horror movie from like it's not even a horror. There's nothing really scary about it, but Killer Clowns from Outer Space is probably my favorite guilty pleasure movie. I watch that thing like 2 or 3 times a year just because it makes me laugh.
So Jeremy Bruton, Jeremy, I'm saying your name wrong. The audience, Jeremy, but he says the OG it for me.
I agree.
So,
Tim Curry. I like Skarsgård. He's really cool and all of that, but Tim Curry nailed Pennywise. To me, that Pennywise was like a scary looking birthday clown hanging around in the sewer. You had no idea what he really was. But Skarsgård's makeup was a little more scary looking, but you knew something was wrong when the mouth makeup went all the way up past the eyes. Right.
Oh yeah. Or like when he's across the room and all of a sudden he shoots really fast towards you. Oh no. Oh no.
But for me, Tim Curry's version of Pennywise was a bit disturbing. But then again, I think Tim Curry is one of the best character actors he had his facial expressions alone when he was able to do stuff. He would bring you into a scene just with his facials alone.
Yeah, for sure. So let me ask you something, Jeremy. Like, what was out of all of the locations that you've been to? Why don't you tell us about some of the locations that you've been to, and your favorite one that you've been to?
Okay, sure. I mean, primarily the ones I've been to are on the East Coast. I haven't had a chance to really venture too far out from here, but I got to tell you, without a doubt, my favorite location, one that I haven't been to in a while, but I'd love to go back, is the very first one I went to, the S.K. Pierce Haunted Mansion, Victoria, followed by probably the USS Salem out of Quincy, Mass. The battleship. I had some.
How is that one? Because I've heard mixed stuff about that one.
You know what? I've had some of the most profound experiences on the USS Salem in my personal paranormal journey. I've channeled 2 or 3 different spirits on that ship. Like I channeled an elemental on that ship.
No.
To the point.
Elemental on the ship.
I'm not kidding you, dude. My hands were stuck to the table. They were melted. There was a whole mess hall full of people who witnessed this. I was there because good friends of mine, James Anito and Carl Johnson, were doing a big investigation, and I was asked to come down, and they wanted to use me as a conduit to communicate to spirits. So I was down there, and we were doing a big. They were doing a big thing in the mess hall and the major mess hall, and all of a sudden it jumped into me, the controller spirit, and my hands were stuck to the table. I could feel the energy was pounding through me. I was like laughing, and there was a guy sitting next to me who was almost as big as I am, and the energy wave coming off of me almost knocked him completely out of his chair.
So you said it was like a dominant spirit?
Yes, basically there are certain spirits in the ones that I've experienced. There were certain spirits who patrol all the other spirits that are on.
Right. Every haunting.
This one can be particularly grumpy if you try to challenge them. And I wasn't challenging him. He jumped into me, and that it was wow, that drained me so fast. But no, as a conduit, as something that, I mean,
were you aware of what was going on when it was happening?
That particular time, I could see both what I was seeing, and I could actually see what he was seeing at the same time.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
I could see him being angry at both James and Carl. I was laughing. I mean, there was one in the CPO mess, which was the smaller mess hall, that one of the spirits jumped into me, and I was like cackling like the Joker. And somebody who was there was actually has an audio recording of me where my voice had changed. Actually, Sam Baltrusis, obviously,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And Sam was there. He had the Estes with the gimmicks with the headphones and the thing, and there was a dark spirit looming over him. I go, Sam, watch out! And the spirit saw me, jumped across the table, and shot into me. And I was like laughing. I was rocking back and forth. My wife and another person had to drag me out and down the hallways for the spirit to let go.
Oh.
And
Well, how are you keeping yourself grounded in that? Because I know with you being
you don't. I mean, I'll be honest with you. You can try. I mean, I had stones in my pocket, like like the dark.
oh no, yeah, but a lot of times they don't work, especially with someone like yourself. A lot of them work for people who don't have those kind of abilities, but with your abilities like that, you need something more stationed. Like I've heard people, go outside, leave the area, take their shoes off, go hug a tree.
I mean, I'll do like the grounding thing where you pull the white light through you and you force it down, like, and you have like the roots that go into the ground and everything. But to be honest with you, Shane, with a spirit that strong, none of that works. None of it works. You try, and you can combat a little bit, but it takes other people around you who are able to help you to get through parts like
Do
that.
you have a fear behind it? Like, do you have a fear? Like, when you go into it,
At
you hear
one
about the
point,
possibilities. I mean, there has to be some kind of a.
like when I channel, I go to a different place. I go to a different like realm. Like the first time I ever channeled was at the Murdoch Whitney House. It's a historical society, but there's a lot of spirits there, and I felt like I was walking down a hallway and I was trying to open doors to see what was going on. And when I finally found an open one, I went through it and I came back. And I guess I had lost like 15, 20 minutes. My wife had talked to me while I was in a different state and all of that. The one on the ship felt like I was down in the bottom of a well looking up and I could see like shadows. And then I found my way out of it, you know. I know it sounds bizarre. I know it really does. But
Well, what was he seeing like when you were on that ship? Obviously, people are seeing things from on the ship. Was he seeing things from the ship too?
the spirit himself,
Yeah.
on those particular occasions, like as far as the CPO mess hall, I wasn't in control. Like I was gone. I have no idea what he saw. I mean, he looked at all the souls on the ship as his property, from what I was told.
Everything.
Because I've heard the audio, like they're mine, they're all mine, and I just start cackling, laughing, and then they as soon as they pulled me out of the mess hall and went about 50, 60 yards down is when I finally was able to come back to myself, getting away from that area. But I had fear at one point, but I'm not afraid because it was meant to happen. That interaction was supposed to happen. Good, bad, or indifferent, I feel that things were meant for a reason.
That's
Everything
very interesting.
everything that I've experienced in the paranormal, scary, unnerving, was meant to happen. For
I
one
just
reason.
think it's amazing that you've been in the field for 14 years and some of the best investigators that I have seen in the field, like true paranormalists, have always, I have Outer Realms Paranormal. We use that as an in-house team, especially for Knights Templar. When we work residential cases, we don't bring in a paranormal team. We use the one that we have to go in and actually investigate.
Right.
So, so my biggest pet peeve in there is to debunk everything obvious first. So we try to find everything that it's not first, which I think is really, really smart. And you came in as a skeptic and you had an encounter. Not only did you have an encounter, but it opened up not only your curiosity, but your love for the paranormal. And then your abilities started. And I think it's fascinating that you can do that, my friend.
You know what? I agree. I don't like to. I don't gloat it. It's not something that is like, oh yeah.
You don't have to. You don't have to gloat. You don't have to gloat about it. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, whether you want to or yeah.
I just feel. I apologize. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
I feel that I was blessed with the abilities, and it could be because I'm 25% Native American as well, so I might have some of that tied in as well. Because whenever I go to places that have a strong Native American energy, it seems to attract right to me, no matter where we are.
Yeah.
And I am so blessed to have been able to investigate with the people who I have, and have the experience that I've had so far. So far, because it's always a never ending journey,
Yeah, 100%. I get premonitions and visions when I have been on location on certain places. I can see not only aura but energy, and I can definitely say I can go into a room, and if there's negative energy in there, it sticks out to me like a sore thumb.
Oh, absolutely. You can feel the differences in the room with energy levels, good, bad, whether or not it's something looming over somebody that they don't know is there, or or something that somebody brought into a location that they need to bring it back out of there before it gets stuck in there, because I hate to say it, I've seen it before, and I don't like it when people leave their paranormal baggage behind in locations where it doesn't belong. If you want to cleanse yourself, do it outside of the property. Don't do it inside.
No, you don't. Yeah.
Just like I don't really care for when people try to cross spirits over. I do not like that at all, because who are we to decide when it's their turn to leave this plane? Maybe they're here still because they haven't solved their chapter of their journey yet. And I don't feel that it's right there. Oh, I crossed over a spirit. Yeah. Well, you just got chased off of a location because the other spirit didn't really care for what you just did. And to me,
that's true. Especially on some locations, man, you can't go in there with the expectant level to be able to do that.
No, but there are some people who, that's what they pride themselves on, is being able to cross spirits because they feel that the spirit wants to leave. You better be darn sure.
Right. That's what I'm about to say. Yeah. I mean, like that's especially like if you go into a known location that people want people to come and investigate and things like that, and then you're openly wanting to cross things over. I mean, that can cause a lot of mess on the inside.
I agree. It can cause
unrest. Coming to you asking for help, I mean, that's different. I don't care who owns it. If they're asking for your help because they're being trapped there.
There's a big difference there, though. Yeah. There's a big difference there, because you're having an intimate one-on-one that entity feels like it's secure, or she is secure with you to be able to even know that it's ready. I mean, but to just openly invite them to do that on a location, you should never be able to do that.
No, and there, I'm sure you've seen it because, you're an experienced person in the paranormal as well, that some people just take liberties, thinking that, oh, I know how to do this, so I'm gonna fix this location. Well, what right do you have to do that?
Right.
Honestly, I mean,
Right.
unless like Gwen said, unless you are asked specifically either by the home, by the location owner, or the actual spirit comes to you and actually begs you to help them get to the plane. Don't just take liberties and just try to cross spirits because you think it's a good idea.
Right. Right.
I don't really care. I don't like that mindset either. You know?
Yeah, like you're going in there taking charge of whatever's there. I mean, that's not.
I've seen it happen once or twice, to be honest with you. That's the only reason I mentioned it in conversation, is because I've actually seen people think that they're just gonna do whatever they feel like doing, and start crossing energies over when they really shouldn't be doing it, you know.
They shouldn't. No, nobody should be messing with stuff like that. Locations are locations for a reason.
Agreed.
Now, I do get like residential. I work a lot of residential cases, and no matter what it is, I like I've had one case to where we found that the person's relative or something like that was there.
Yeah.
But like to move to get them away or out of the area, you just can't pick and choose who goes. If you do a cleansing and you do a complete clearing and stuff like that, a clearing is a clearing for a reason. That's because it clears the whole area. And I don't, I mean, like a lot of people are like, well, I want the bad spirit to go, but I want the good spirit. It doesn't always work like that.
No, and sometimes the cleansing doesn't actually work. It might work for a little bit, but they can come back. They can travel just like we do. And just like we were saying before, we don't have. I mean, if I had to put in a percentage, I would say after all these years, maybe 5 or 6% of actually what really goes on the other side of the veil. I don't think anybody, like you said, there's no experts, because it's an always evolving field. It's an always everybody's learning. Some people go in the direction of like paranormal communicators like myself, or people like to hunt down the ghosts and get their recordings on things, or some people like to do all sorts of other things. Some people just love to debunk everything or try to debunk everything because that's what they want to do. And I respect all of that. Whatever you want to do is fine. The field is big enough for everybody to enjoy what they want to do.
Amen. Hey, that's such wise words, man. We got about 5 minutes, Jeremy. What can you just take a little while and just tell everybody how they can get a hold of you and where to find you?
Sure. So you can find me on Facebook at Jeremy Cotter. Pretty soon you'll be able to find me on Twisted Tales through all that work, which I'm looking forward to. I have TikTok, and I have Instagram, and I think Snapchat. I don't even play with that thing. I don't even know how the thing works half the time. But I have like obviously Instagram, and I have the TikTok with Yoda Man 1973 and stuff like that. And I'm just anybody who's even interested to come onto the show and talk to me. I put an open invitation to anybody out there. Feel free to reach out, and maybe we can make it happen, because that's the most important thing. I want, like with my show coming up, and like I said before, I really am just looking forward to showcasing people and bringing people up. And that's the most important thing.
That's amazing. And you were speaking of Nathaniel Elwell. When I first saw him, I'm one of the what they call the OGs, in here. Yep. I've been around this network for a while. And Nathaniel wasn't even on podcasting yet. He wasn't even. He would do videos, and I kept trying to tell him. I'm like, man, I said, you would be phenomenal at your own show. And he kept pushing. He was like, no. And then finally, I guess it got to him, and then he jumped aboard, and he loves it. He loves it. But I'm glad.
Yeah, and he's also one of the ones that convinced me that he's been really a great support too. You know,
He is.
I chat with him. Actually, I was on the phone with him like an hour and a half last night, just shooting the breeze and everything. You know,
Mhm.
really, really great person. He was, you know, and he's like, every time I would have thought I had like a doubt in my head about, are you sure you really want to go through with this? Are you sure this is real? And it feels more and more real every minute. And my anxiety kicks up a little bit here or there because I do suffer from a little bit of anxiety. And I'm like, you know something? I've done the guest role before, but hosting is completely different and trying to schedule people. And I don't know how to do any of this shit. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying to figure it all out as I go.
And I have told him so many times, as I have to tell Nate, for those of you who don't know, Nathaniel Elwell's show, Paranormal Unveiled, Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern. I am his co-host.
Yep.
And I'm telling you right now, we have a little banter in between us, which makes it cool. But it's a great show, and Nate's great. And you know, I've told him, I've told Jeremy and Shane when he was on Shane's show. I talked to him and I said, "Man, you need a show, and just consider me." And then he got in touch with you. Remember that, Shane? And I told you it was great.
Yep.
But yeah. I've told Jeremy, if he needs help, I'll help him. I'll get him started. I'll make
and that's the thing I love about this network is you will have the backup. You do have everybody here wants to see you succeed. Everybody here wants to see your show become something, you know, really good. So we're all here. You know, we're all here. So you're not alone in this. You're not going to jump headfirst into something you're not ready for. You definitely picked the right network to come into, man, because we are a different breed here.
We're a family.
Yeah, I'm definitely, yes, I agree. And I love being part of the family now. I'm really excited to get the show up and running. I figured I'm going to give myself 2 weeks from Wednesday. That way it gives me enough time to contact people and get them slotted into places so I can at least get a couple of shows with the guests.
I'll be on your show. I'll be on your show if you like. I love to be on people's shows.
I would love to have you, man. We could definitely do more horror talk, and I would love to
do anything. But Jeremy, listen, I really appreciate you being on, man. You've been an awesome guest, and I wish everybody was like you, man. You know, but I appreciate, you know, the network being able to have somebody like you on there because we need that kind of energy.
Yes, we do.
We need that kind of energy. We need that kind that you bring, that you're willing to bring in here. And I can't thank you enough for that. And I can't thank you enough for being on this show. You've made this hour very intriguing, very informative, and very fun.
Yes.
Thank you very much for bringing me on tonight, man. I really appreciate it. You know, it was my honor to be on here tonight. So,
all right, thank you, Jeremy. Thank you so much. And she's gonna drop you back, but you have a good night, okay?
You too. Thank you.
All right, brother. Well, Jeremy Cotter, that was a good show. That was a good show. I mean, you know, and that's what we should do. We should be able to bounce anywhere. You know, to go anywhere, you know, because it's not about certain things. You know, I want to know the person for who the person is. And that's exactly, and I'm excited about him being in the network and coming to the show.
I am also. I really am.
And I want to thank all of you guys for being on here. Thank you for the support. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for being on here with us and spending your time with us. But you guys have a great night. Stay safe. Be blessed always, people, and stay spooky. Peace.